Hi there. In this short video, we're going to talk quickly about equations of perpendicular lines. In the graph you see on the screen, you see three pairs of perpendicular lines, red, green, and purple. And I want you to notice two things about the pairs of perpendicular lines. First of all, one of them always tilts up and one always tilts down. Even in the case of the red, where they almost look vertical and horizontal, one of them is actually tilting down, the other one is tilting up, and you see that is true in every case. The other is that one of them is always steep and the other is not as steep. So again, in the case of the red pair of lines, that's very, very extreme. It's not as extreme in, say, the purple pair, but if you look closely at the purple pair, one of them is very steep and the other is not. If you need to pause the video to check that out, please do so. Now, both of these things are handled with slope. The key idea here is that slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocals. Opposite means they have different signs. One's positive, one's negative. That takes care of the tilt. And reciprocals will be the flipped fraction, and that takes care of the steepness. So for example, if the slope of one line is 5, the slope of the perpendicular line would be negative 1/5, the opposite and also the reciprocal. To write the equation of a perpendicular line, you need the slope and 1 point. So here's an example of a problem you might see. Write the equation of the line perpendicular to y equals negative 2/5 x minus 6 and going through the point 4, negative 8. The best form of a line to use for this is point slope form, but you can also use slope intercept form. It just requires a little bit more work. The m represents the slope and the x1, y1 represents The x1, y1 represents a point on the line, which in this case is 4, negative 8. So we would have y minus y1, which is negative 8. The slope would be the opposite reciprocal of negative 2/5, which would be positive 5/2. And x minus x1 is 4. You might want to change that minus a negative over to a plus 8. Now from here, you could change the form into slope intercept by distributing the 5/2 and subtracting 8 from both sides. And the problem could also be made a little bit more difficult if the original equation that you were given did not easily give you the slope. So there are some variations on this, but these are the basic steps for finding the equation of a perpendicular line to a given line and through a given point.